I would like to talk about WAF, Web Application Firewall, and what is that and how it is important, and what are different WAF providers out there. And I want to discuss briefly on those. So, Web Application Firewall is kind of a architecture or security layer that acts as a entry point to your all your network or applications. So, I mean, so it usually when you're exposing an URL for your application or a service, usually you expose that URL and you configure a WAF before that entry point, so that WAF look at the request, make sure it is valid request before it is sent to your servers. So, I mean, what happens if there is no WAF, right? So usually the best, I mean, the possible attacks that happens on web applications or any RESTful APIs are SQL injections, which means someone bad actors try to steal the information from database by sending some SQL commands in the query parameters or in the request as well. And also there could be some bad actors that they want to perform cross-site request forgery, which means they can send the malicious JavaScript code into your application and they wanted to get some information from your application as well. That can be one kind of vulnerability and also attack. And the third attack usually happens is using a cross-site request forgery, which means so they bad actors pretend to be as a good actor and they wanted to simulate the good actor behavior and try to steal the information from the application. That's one type of attack usually happens on web application. And the fourth one is DDoS attack, and also you can also call DOS attack, which means denial of service. They try to just send unnecessary requests to your server, and the intention is to bring down your servers. So that's one kind of attack. So all these attacks can be prevented if you use WAF. So WAF acts, as I mentioned, acts as a first level of defense. First request goes through WAF, and you can configure different rules on WAF. So what kind of request should be sent to our servers and what should be rejected, so that if there is a request that comes with a SQL injection, that will be stopped on the WAF itself, so that your application is secure. And also nowadays, since we use a lot of open source libraries, there are new vulnerabilities added every day. So it is hard to keep your applications up to date all the time. Instead, if you use WAF, usually these WAF providers keep their services active, and also they try to keep up to date with the recent vulnerabilities as well. Say suppose you're using Spring and there is a vulnerability introduced in Spring, and where you can pass some command query parameter to bring down your system. So it may take time to upgrade your application, which brings to latest Spring version and all. But whereas if that vulnerability is introduced, and usually these WAF providers update the patches immediately. Say that if it is introduced at today 9 a.m., maybe by 9:30 they'll have fix available and update on the WAF side, so that even your application needs some time to update to the latest version, your application is protected because WAF is already handling those kind of vulnerabilities and rejecting the calls. So these advantages you get with the WAF, and so they are usually faster, and also update the patches and all, so that your application is secure and you can upgrade your software whenever needed. Since you are using WAF, they act as a first level of defense and protect your application. There are different WAFs available as well. So there are network level WAF and also application level WAF, and when you are using cloud environment, there is a cloud WAF as well. So usually if you are using any cloud environment like AWS or also Azure or Google Cloud, all they have different WAF services available to protect your application. So the popular WAF solutions are like Azure has one, and Amazon has one, and also Improvise one, and Cloudflare is one. So these are different WAF providers that you can utilize to secure your application, so that you don't need to worry about looking at stopping the recent new vulnerabilities. Also, safeguard your application against DDoS attacks as well. Thank you.